Hello and welcome to the Give 7 Days Virtual Discover Day. My name is Margaret Veglin and I am a member of the 7 Days Kindness Youth Leadership Team and a co-chair of this event. When we were faced with the challenge of moving all of our events online, we knew that we wanted to create a way for you to connect to your community and discover heroes that are spreading kindness, not coronavirus. Today's program is a collection of interviews with just a few of the many heroes that are making a positive ripple during this challenging time, as well as a discussion about heroism and what we can do to inspire kindness. We hope that at the conclusion of this program, you feel moved to become a hero yourself and make ripples of change. Make sure to join us for our other programs as well. More information can be found on the Give 7 Days Facebook page or at give7days.org. Thank you so much for joining us and enjoy. I'm Margaret Veglin, and I am a member of the Kindness Youth Leadership Team for 7 Days. And today we're going to be talking about heroes in our midst.
And I'm Ruth Baum-Biggis, and I am Media and Community Relations for 7 Days. And we're so excited to have with us Dr. Sharon White-Lewis, who's a professor at the University of Missouri, Kansas City in the School of Nursing and Health Studies, I believe it is, who trains nurses and other healthcare professionals. And you're now involved with folks who are even on the front lines battling COVID. So we're so happy that you found some time for us.
Dr. White-Lewis speaks locally, nationally, and internationally on topics such as leadership, disaster preparedness, and equine-assisted therapy. Among her many former students working on the front lines is a member of our own 7 Days family, Alyssa Lamano, who's working as a registered nurse at Stanford University Hospital in California. And right now, Dr. White-Lewis has been deployed by the Missouri State Board of Nursing in the COVID-19 response as the Medical Reserve Corps Planning Section Chief for the 9 counties in the Kansas City metro area. Now today we're going to be talking about heroes. The term hero comes from the ancient Greeks. For them, a hero was a mortal who had done something so far beyond the normal scope of human experience that he left an immortal memory. Fast forward to today. Dr. White-Lewis, how would you define the word hero, or what traits or characteristics do you think make up a hero?
It's the person that runs into the fire rather than running away from the fire. A hero thinks that their existence includes serving others and making other people's lives better. It's not about not being afraid, because we all are. A hero is about knowing that there is something more important than your fear and acting on the idea that it is you that needs to take care of whatever's more important.
It sounds like you're pretty selfless types of people. What's kind of your take on that with the folks that you work with?
They think it's their job. It's really incredible to watch, for instance, the nurses that I work with say that's what nursing is. We know when we went into this that even with the COVID response, even that we're going into there knowing that we're risking our lives, risking the lives of our families, risking the lives of our friends by going in and taking care of these people, that's our job. That's what we signed up for. That's what we're here for.
Can you train a hero? And how do you train a hero?
I think that there's heroism in all of us. And I think that, yes, you can train a hero. When you understand what it means to give to others, that you start thinking about other people more than ourselves, it changes you. You realize that not only are you giving to them and you've helped them out, but you're giving to yourself because you feel so much better about the world and how it shapes our society and everything that we do.
You mentioned that there's heroism in everyone, which I totally agree with. Do you have maybe some tips or something that you would give advice to people if they wanted to become a hero in their own community?
Yes. go look at your community and see what it needs, and then do everything that you can to give back to your community. So many times people nowadays think of me, and what can the government do for me? What can our politicians do for me? What can the healthcare workers do for me? And it's more about what can you do for them? What can you give them? How can you take care of each other?
Has the perception of what makes a hero changed?
Oh, absolutely. We used to have our heroes be athletes and military heroes and different singers, and all those people are very important, but you don't live, work, breathe because of those people.
So many organizations are having to pivot and see how they can function and how they can help out. And we partner with the Community Blood Center. If you're healthy, you can go donate. You just have to make an appointment and go to centers. You are right on the front lines working with this disaster organization. What are you seeing? You all are heroes trying to plan to manage this whole thing.
What we're seeing is, and let me real quickly say, Harvesters is running out of food. So if you have any food left over, please drop it off to Harvesters. They would love it. What we're seeing is that people are scared, that people are dying, and that the Metro is doing a marvelous job. We set up some testing facilities in the Wyandotte County public health area. We have plans for alternative care centers in case the hospitals go beyond their surge capacity. We have been sending supplies. We have a phone bank to help with the City of Independence. We have some quarantine facilities. There's people that cannot go to the hospital because they're not sick enough, but they can't go home either because they'll infect people within their house, and they're high-risk people within their house.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. White-Lewis, for talking with us about what makes a hero, and thank you so much for everything you're doing for your community. We really appreciate it.
No problem, and thank you guys for communicating what's important in this world.
So, I am speaking with Paddy Hamill. Paddy, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And you nominated the Threaders as one of our 7 Days heroes who are spreading kindness, not coronavirus. And right. I'd love it if you could tell me a little bit about the history of Threaders first, and then I'll ask you a few more questions.
Okay. Well, it started several years ago. Two women, Pat Wineland and Ann Piat, started it. They went and talked to the priest at Holy Trinity and asked them if they thought it would be, if we could have a group that did handwork, not just quilting, but all kinds of handwork. And it kind of evolved. When I very first started, we were making little gowns for babies that weren't going to make it, and we made angel wings for the back of them, so that when the baby passed and the parents knew that was going to happen, they had the angel wings and that they could keep. And people put all that together. It was really a sweet, sweet, sweet idea. We've evolved into, we do prayer patches. That's something that we give to people if they just want to carry it in their purse, and maybe they're going through a tough time. They need a chance to talk about it, or to talk to God about it.
So I love that you all got started back in 2008 and have been working for quite some time. Then recently, your group decided to change what you were doing just during this COVID-19 crisis. And how did that come about? Who was it that thought that would be a good idea? Do you know?
Well, some of the ones that go to Prairie Point Quilt Shop, it's at 95th and Quivira, real close to our church. They put out a video of how we can do it, and as threaders do, we checked to make sure what was going to be the most effective, because then we were looking for making masks that people could wear, and they would be protected. And at one point somebody put two sheets of flannel in there, and the problem with that is you couldn't breathe when you had it on. So we went through a process to find out what we thought made the most sense. We even at one point did tore up sheets, because sheets are high thread count, and so we could put, and that's thinner, so we could put it through and we could do the pleating and stuff, because it needs to fit a certain way, the way and it's evolved. Things change. It seems to me like every other day there's a new riff to it. But what they figured out that seems to be working is the distancing, and also protecting. And the ones that we are making tons of now. Last night, Pat told me last night that we went over 16,000 that we had made as the.
Can you tell me a little bit about some of the recipients you have taken the masks to?
We have taken them to children. Kids at KU Med comes and gets them. We've taken them to. We've done the police department of Lenexa. We did the fire department of Lenexa.
So since you're not getting together, do you know about how many people or how many threaders are working from home on this project?
I would guess it's just a guess, because some are just still because we still need prayer quilts and we still need prayer patches. So some people are just still doing that, but I would say there's probably at least 15. There's probably a total of maybe 40 women that are active in threaders. Some are more active than others, but
prayer part of it. When we talked earlier with Anne, she wanted to make sure that the people that are listening are aware that Threaders is a prayerful group, and that each item you are making is prayed upon with obviously so can you expand?
Hail Mary, full of grace. And with that, everybody's okay. And then we say that, and we say the Lord's Prayer. And then there's a really pretty quilter's prayer. I used to have it on a piece of paper. Now it's on my phone, so I can't really read you the quilter's prayer. But it talks about, guiding my hands and yeah.
So what did the men or women at the tire place, what was their reaction when you brought them masks?
Well, he was really excited to have it. The kid that I talked to, they're all like 12 years old, and he said, "Oh, it's going to be real clean and neat because they're doing rehab." And I said, "Well, this is the time to do that." But I said, I noticed that none of you have those masks on. When I come back, you better have those masks on, because you don't ever know where you're gonna, and it just makes sense. It means that it won't swoop up. It will stay level, and that's what we're hoping to do.
Well,
Hey, Mindy and Faith Always Wins. I would like to nominate Karen Dunsmore and Deanna King for the Kindness Award. Karen is, both of them are friends from high school from Shawnee Mission West. Deanne is Chief of Human Resources at Sprint, now T-Mobile, I guess, here in Kansas City. And a couple of weeks ago when the shutdown first started, I was talking with a friend of mine, the director of the St. Michael's Veterans Center. It's a homeless center for formerly homeless vets over by the VA. And with that shutdown, about 50 of their residents were going to be in a spot where they would not have any sort of ability to communicate with the outside world, no device or anything like that. And so I had not talked to Deanne in some time and didn't have a number, so I reached out to my friend Karen. Karen was so kind to be able to hook me up with Deanne. Deanne called me back or emailed me back, and just a couple of minutes after a contact with her, copying in some people from her veteran resource group over there, saying, let's make this happen. And 2 days after that, there were 50 devices taken over to St. Michael's Veterans Center by the people at Sprint, so that those people now have access to the outside world. And where it's really important is that these people, homelessness is not something that is chosen, obviously. It's usually comes from some tragedy in life, whether, in the case of these veterans, post-traumatic stress, self-medicating that, leads on down the road to homelessness. So, to have them locked away in their apartments during this lockdown with no access to the outside world is a recipe for tragedy. So by the kindness of Karen and Deanne, Karen hooking me up with Deanne and Deanne making it happen, that's much less likely to happen over there. I nominate Karen Dunsmore and Deanne King.
We have been made aware of a wonderful gift that happened, and what it was a bunch of phones and minutes for phones that veterans in the Kansas City area received. And
Yes.
Learning about this, we learned that there were many hands that touched this project, and it really goes to show how the simplest thing as a connection, a phone call, an email, can be a ripple. And that's what 7Days talks a lot about. What is the ripple? So tell us a little bit about your ripple and your little...
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure. So I'm friends with Dail Blake, and he and I went to high school, and we just happened to be communicating one day, and he asked me if I knew anyone that worked at Sprint, because he had been made aware that there were some veterans that through the stay-at-home order were somewhat isolated and removed from their families and weren't able to communicate. So I have a lifelong friend that works at Sprint. She and I have been friends since we were 11 years old. So my part in the connection was I passed along a phone number to Dail, and then he made the connection with Deanne King, and it went from there. And I think that many hands did touch this project, but when you're at home and you're not crafty and you can't sew masks or things like that, it was really nice to see. I think within 24 hours or 48 hours, there were phones delivered to these vets, and they were able to communicate with their family members.
Thank you, gentlemen. I am super excited to have you both here. Why don't we start by having you tell us your names?
So I am Nick Ayers, and I work at Sprint now as moving into T-Mobile. And my role for this is I am the co-chair of their Veterans Employee Resource Group.
Yeah, my name is Kadeem Raza, and pretty much what my role is that I do product and device launches with Sprint, now part of T-Mobile. And when this request came to me, I just, any chance I can get to help anyone, especially within the company, I'll go ahead and, get it done. I was able to retrieve a big load of devices from some of our device team and, get those activated. I made sure that they all were working prior to boxing them up, had a few charge in them. Yeah.
So what exactly did you all do?
So the first part was reaching out to the St. Michael's Community Center to understand kind of what the need was on their end. So we had the initial kind of high-level request of kind of explaining the situation, that there were veterans that were at the St. Michael's Community Center that didn't have connectivity, and that, with all the lockdown, there was concern about them just being connected with family and friends, and then also mailing a check on them. So I reached out, talked to the leadership there, who we had known from some previous work we had done with them, kind of understood what they were kind of looking for. And then I reached out to Kadeem's group and to try to see what was kind of in the realm of possibility that we could turn around and do at a kind of short notice.
So what we did was, once that request came in through Nick, we went ahead and got in touch with some of our device team in just one building over on the campus. We were like, hey, do you have any devices that you'd be willing to spare for us that we can go ahead and get for Nick so he can get them to the right people who need to get some service? So yeah, once that came in, we got in touch fairly quick. We arranged about 50 devices that were ready for pickup at this other building. So I went in, grabbed those devices, rolled them on over to my building, make sure they all turn on, make sure they work, have some charge in them. One by one went through them, and then by the end of that workday, I had them all boxed up, ready to go for Nick, and he came through the next morning and took them away.
Wonderful. So tell me a little bit about how it made you feel knowing that the impact you were going to have on these vets.
So, I mean, it made me feel good. I mean, I think all of us, want to be able to do something that's going to make a measurable impact. And even if it's small, if it's real.
Anything you can do to help anyone out, especially in the times of COVID-19, with all the lockdown. I know it's really difficult for people getting connectivity in general. And on top of, you throw this whole COVID-19 situation on top of it. I was really glad that I was able to make a difference and hopefully help some of those people to get some kind of connectivity with loved ones and families.
Remain calm. We're in this together. You are loved. It will be okay.
They're the inspirational messages in a time that's rocked our world.
I feel like the world could all use a little bit of extra kindness.
We've told you about Karen Houck's rock garden before, filled with hand-painted rocks, decorated with her, as she calls them, Karenisms.
I've been saying things like, no day but today, you don't get this day back, this is your pile, what are you going to do with it?
She says her garden has never been more popular.
I've filled it up at least twice every day over the last 2 weeks. It does make me feel really good.
Her Kindness Rocks project started several years ago after her daughter Alyssa died of an opioid overdose. Houck found comfort in sharing joy.
After Alyssa passed, it became even more profound because truly there is no day but today. You really don't know what tomorrow brings.
She now hopes in these times to make kindness contagious too.
I feel like that is the message or the quest that everybody's on. It was how to spend their time the best way possible.
Hi Karen, Houck, this is Sunaina, and I'm going to interview you for the Discover Day Kindness Hero. You've been nominated by Kirby Houck, and we would like to talk more on how you started this and how has been the response been to your action.
I started Alyssa's Wishes, which is part of the Kindness Rocks project, in July of 2017. My daughter Alyssa passed away in November of 2011 from an accidental prescription drug overdose.
Mm-hmm.
So it had been a while that she had been gone, and I had been searching for something productive to do with my time and my grief. And in the summer of 2017, I found the Kindness Rocks project.
How has this been reflective in what's going on currently?
Sure. Originally, Alyssa's Wishes is part of a bigger group of most towns around here have their own, like a hide and seek, family oriented, kid friendly, paint the Kindness Rocks, put them out in the world, give a hint on Facebook, go find them and post them sort of situation. Since the coronavirus, there's been a lot of debate, as you know, and a lot of opinion about whether the Kindness Rock should still be hid. If people should not really be out. Obviously, we need to be social distancing. I chose to keep the garden open and just thoroughly clean every rock and go out there 2-3 times a day in case someone does bring a rock that I don't see them bring and add to the garden, that it stays as clean as possible. Everybody's trying to get out and at least take a walk the dog, ride a bike, and this way the garden is still open and safer. I actually have gloves out there. I've talked about it online on all our social media that, if you're uncomfortable, walk on by, that's fine. If you bring something, please think about how we have to do it now. If you come to the garden and there's more than one family, please give them the time to make their selection. I'm also doing the don't touch all the rocks kind of thing, kids, they want to turn them all over, they want to touch them all, like in kindergarten, when you tell them if you touch it, you take it, like that's your cupcake, that's your rock.
I'm sure this must be so satisfying for you to see that people are finding some relief by the simple act that you've been doing.
Right. Also, what has happened, which is interesting to me, is that people have reached out to me and they're painting kindness rocks as part of art class for homeschooling. Helps me. It helps me. It really does. I feel like you understand that as well. If you're doing what you're doing right now, to be part of something bigger and to be part of something that makes the world a little bit better, you would hope, that you hope you're doing, you know that you're spreading good feelings. That's kind of, it helps me get through my days. When I get those messages, it helps me be better.
Hi, Mom. Hi. This is my mom. She's amazing. She's strong, supportive, and always makes time for her family. But besides all these traits, the reason why she's a hero is that she's also a doctor. During this time of coronavirus, while most people are ordered to stay home, she has to leave to take care of her sick patients at KU Med. She is risking her health every day to be there, but she does so willingly because she's strong, helpful, and caring towards everyone around her. I'm taking the time to point out her awesomeness during this pandemic, but the truth is that it was always there. She's always putting other people first and helping in any way she can. She misses time with her family, but we all know that she's saving so many people with her job, so it's all right. I'm so lucky to be able to call her my mom and to have a role model like her in my life, mostly at a time as dire as this. I hope we can all see the heroes in our everyday lives. I know I can.
This is our opportunity to have you share who you are and tell us about your charity and what does that mean to you? What would you want people to know about Bags of Fun?
All right, well, I'm Louisa. I'm the Executive Director of Bags of Fun Kansas City. We have been in Kansas City since 2011. In fact, this week, the first week of April, is our 10th birthday. So we are very proud. We literally started in 2011 on a wing and a prayer. So shoestring budget, one-man band kind of thing. And we have grown immensely in the last 10 years. So it's important to note that we did start in Denver in 2004, and we share the same tax ID with them. We're kind of like Make-A-Wish in that respect, and that they're our mothership in Denver. But everything we do in Kansas City is self-supporting. We do our own fundraising, and we have our own program separate from them. So what we do, our mission, is to make a difference in the lives of children and their families who are faced with fighting cancer and other long-term life-threatening illnesses. And we do that by our signature program, which is delivering a bag of fun. A bag of fun is a brightly colored backpack filled to the brim with educational items, toys, and games that are picked specifically for each child based on their interests, their developmental age, and their treatment needs. A lot of our patients are under neurological rehab, and so they need special things for OT and PT. Some of our patients are awaiting heart transplants, and so they can't have anything magnetic in that part of the hospital, that kind of thing. So we pay close attention to what their treatment needs are, as well as what their likes and interests are. Each bag of fun is worth $400, and each one has an electronic component inside along with some tag-along items. And the whole purpose is just to bring that intrinsic childhood need to play into a very, what could be depressing and adult situation for these children.
How do you get your kids? Like, how do you know
So we get most of our referrals come from the child life department in the hospitals that we serve. So here in Kansas City, we serve children being treated at Children's Mercy Hospital. That is the bulk of our referrals, but also the University of Kansas Medical Center, Stormont Vale in Topeka, and then Cox and Mercy Kids in Springfield, Missouri. Right now, during these times, our program has looked a little bit different than in the past. We have been very lucky in the last 10 years that we are able to actually offer our sponsors and our donors, our grantors, the chance to come with us and stuff the bag and then deliver it to the child while in the hospital. Obviously, we can't do that now. We don't even get face-to-face delivery anymore. We're kind of doing a drive-by drop-off in the front circles of the hospitals where a parent will meet us and they will do a contactless pickup through our cars. And especially if they're in the hospital and isolated, a lot of times they're fearful and anxious, and we can see almost immediately as they become engaged in some of the items in their bag, they're not focusing on their diagnosis or prognosis or the ouches that are going to come next. They're really focused on playing and being a child.
About how many children do you have on hand at a time that you're delivering to, and do you deliver to them more than once?
The first part of that question, because we are a referral-based foundation, I can't tell you, we have an average that we do annually. Right now, that average looks to be about 225 to 265 bags a year annually. But some weeks we'll have 0 referrals. Some weeks we'll have 18 referrals. It just kind of depends. And then the second part of your question was, do we ever deliver more than once? So certain children, some of our cancer patients, yes, the answer is yes. If they are infusion dependent, or if they have had a clean bill of health and then relapsed, they'll get a relapse bag. If they're infusion dependent, after 5 years, we generally give them a new one because they've grown out of the stuff that we've done. Also, if they have a bone marrow transplant, they get a bone marrow transplant bag, because when you have a bone marrow transplant, you're in isolation for 6 weeks and you don't leave the hospital and you don't see your siblings. And so we just feel that that's a really good time where we can make a direct impact on their treatment.
That's great. So Louisa, is your team you and few volunteers, or is it you and 100 volunteers? What does your team look like when you get 18 referrals in a week?
It started out me doing everything. I was the one-man band, and then my college-age daughter would help me when she could. I've been very blessed that we have a lot of people who want to remain involved in our program and have. And so now in our 10th year, we have myself and I have 2 staff members, and then we have about 5 pretty regular volunteers that are willing to do whatever on the volunteer basis and not get paid. And then we work really hard to, like I said, provide our donors and grantors and corporate partners the chance to come in and be a part of that. So we really work hard to schedule days where certain companies know they can come in and stuff bags and possibly deliver them if we have the need.
Okay, and that's a really good segue to, obviously the reason we are talking in this fashion, and we're not hosting our walk yet. Now we're actually kind of taking advantage of the fact that we have more time and we can put this in video and, repackage it for our followers and people that we want to introduce you to people that are following 7 Days. So, but in this time, and the reason we had to change is because of coronavirus, COVID-19. So you've talked a little bit, you've touched on a few things. How has COVID-19 changed your daily routine? So, you mentioned an office. I'd like to know, what does that look like to you now?
Well, first and foremost, because of COVID-19, we have lost, we don't even know yet the total, like you, of fundraising wise, as things keep getting postponed and possibly canceled. But now one of the issues we're running into is being able to fill the bags with the quality product in a timely manner as everything is being shut down. We partner with Brookside Toy and Science, and they do a wonderful job of buying things specifically for us, and they also give us a wonderful discount. So I'd love to give them the plug anytime I can. but they're pretty much only open for curbside pickup.
Yeah, how can people help you right now in 1, 2, or 3 ways? What is helpful to Bags of Fun?
Well, the most helpful thing to Bags of Fun is always funding. So we always look for anyone who is willing to give us that $300 general donation now that is allowed based on the new stimulus bill that was passed into law last week. We also always look for partners, any corporation, any local company who wants to be a part of our process and help fund us that way. We always are looking for volunteers, not just right this minute, but we urge anyone to go on our website and click I want to be a volunteer, and we'll get you into our program as soon as we can.
Thank you. Well, that's a great way to end our interview. So thank you. I appreciate it. And we'll get you a copy of the video too.
Okay. Thanks, Mindy.
Okay, thanks, Lisa. Nice to meet you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Hey, Kansas City. We are just showing what we're trying to do to spread kindness. We are going back to our heritage today and making some Swedish rye bread to give to our neighbors. So this is my daughter, and one of the things we've been doing to keep busy is making food for other people, because food is love.
Hi, so I'm Laura Kinney, and I'm here talking with Tara Freeberg and her daughter Lauren, and they are heroes in the midst of the pandemic here, spreading kindness rather than coronavirus. So just tell us a little bit about yourselves, and what grade are you in, Lauren?
I'm in 6th grade, and I'm just turned 12 a few months ago. I play soccer and volleyball.
So I understand that you all are spreading kindness by baking for your neighbors. What inspired you to do that?
Well, we like to cook, and we thought this time would give us a little more time to share what we're doing with others. And I'm trying to teach her some skills on baking, especially bread, which is a more time-consuming thing. It takes about 3 hours for us to make bread. And there's a couple of recipes that my mom taught me to make as a girl, probably about her age. And my mom still makes bread and cinnamon rolls for people all the time. So she really passed that down to me, and I wanted to pass it down to her. So we started making cinnamon rolls and bread. I think the first weekend we made 120 cinnamon rolls.
Oh my gosh.
We made about 8 loaves of rye bread, the Swedish rye bread that was in the video that where I grew up, the Swedish community. And we all love it.
3 batches of cookies.
Oh gosh.
Cooking a lot.
So what really motivated you to start baking for your neighbors?
Well, I know they're lonely and we're all quarantined. They're just with their spouse. What we were doing, we've done it before at Christmas time. We always take them food at Christmas, but we thought this was a good time to reach out to them and just let them know we were thinking about them and that we cared about them, and we know they love them, so we know it would make them happy. Yeah. And Lauren's the delivery girl. She always likes to get the job of running and taking, and we try to get them right out of the oven, so they're
nothing better than that.
Yeah.
Warm baked goods. Once we're able to get out and about again, do you think you're going to continue with this, or do you think it will morph into something different? Or
Oh, I will definitely continue, because I know it makes them happy, and we're just in contact more. We're texting each other more and just kind of checking on each other more than we usually do, and I think that will continue.
Any other takeaways from all this? Or
well, I think little things that show you care, that don't take a lot of effort, are the most meaningful. Little written notes or just personal gestures that show you care about someone doesn't have to be big or elaborate. Just something small can really mean a lot to people, and they tell me all the time how much it means to them, so that makes me feel good.
I'm Virginia Mann from Marlow, Oklahoma, and since this virus I've been staying home and making face masks. In March, my daughter Arlita saw for the cancer center needed masks for the nurses and their patients. So since I'm a cancer survivor, I thought that'd be a good cause. So my daughter got on the internet and found patterns for this mask, and we made these until we couldn't find any more elastic. And then she found this pattern that goes around your neck and comes up like this and ties back here. And it has a filter in it. And a nurse from the Newberry's pharmacy here in town asked if I'd make some for them. And I gave them about 15. And they took a group picture with my mask on and sent me a note saying I was their guardian angel. Well, I'm no angel, but I do believe in giving back with the talent that the Lord gave me. And I've made about 100 of these, and as long as there's this epidemic lasts, I'll still be making them for anybody that wants one.
Hi, I'm Laura Kinney, and I'm sitting here with Jon Schaefer, and he's been nominated as a hero for Discovery Day by Diana Shalhoub. So, Jon, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you work, what you do, what you enjoy.
Well, thanks for talking. I live in Western Massachusetts. I run 2 ski areas, Berkshire East Ski Area and Catamount Ski Area.
So now you were nominated as a hero, spreading kindness, not coronavirus. Because of the work that you do, I understand, what are you called? You're in charge of the movement Goggles for Docs. Tell me
Correct.
a little bit about that, please.
So a little over 2 weeks ago, I got an email from one of my staff members, a ski racing coach, and she forwarded on a request from an emergency room doctor in New York City who had 300 techs and nurses and PAs and doctors working under them, and they had no protective eyewear. They were using bandanas and garbage bags
Oh my
to
gosh.
protect themselves while working on, COVID positive patients in the ICU and the emergency room. And he put a request in for, used ski goggles, and that little email went pretty viral around our community. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, wow, this is a great idea, but he's going to end up with 10,000 goggles on his back doorstep if we're not careful
Yeah.
here. And I'm not certain that's the best use of resources. I'm sure there's other people that need them as well. So I stepped in and created a system where he could share the request to other hospitals. And then I could connect with skiers on the other side and just try to link them up. We sent that out. That was 2 Saturdays ago. And by Sunday morning, I'd gotten about 500 responses and messages and text messages and voicemails. And it was really blowing up on me. So we ended up building a website and making another version of it. So the second version is Goggles for Docs. And by the next afternoon, we'd shipped 1,600 goggles to places
that was
across the
fast
country.
too.
When the word started to spread in those closed communities around resorts, the volunteers just came in from each location. And the first 48 hours of the organization, we set up a structure for people to be able to volunteer to. If only the interest was so high, it was protecting us from the communication inflow because we didn't know what we were doing yet.
Oh yeah.
We created a system of regional coordinators, local coordinators, drop-off locations, and allowed people to self-organize around it. There's just so much pent-up energy to help. And I think if we did anything, we allowed people to help in their own little way from home.
So great to spread kindness in all different kinds of aspects. Yeah. Is there any particular story or person that has stuck with you?
the first, maybe Tuesday night after we started, I was laying in bed and I couldn't sleep, just thinking, oh man, what have we done? Because it was really starting to spread. And the first 2 weeks I worked harder at this than I did just about any other job I've ever worked in my life.
Yeah.
And you just have these moments like, wow, geez, this is not my profession. I think I'm getting into territory I shouldn't be in. And
yeah.
I received an email from a ER doc in New Orleans whose hospital had just received 200 goggles overnighted to them.
Yeah.
And this person was going in for a week long, away from her family, and sent me a picture of her and her son trying on the goggles.
Mm-hmm.
And she put a comment in my email and then on social media the next day, which was, just when you think you're really scared and nervous, kindness comes out of these words just most unlooked for, or some version of that. And that was, that really gave me the confidence to double down.
Yeah, very nice. I think, yes, this pandemic has really shown how truly connected we are in this world.
Yeah.
And it's taught us new and different ways to connect as well.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your heroism, for getting these necessary supplies out there. Truly appreciate you and honor you as a hero for our diversity.
Well, I appreciate that. You got to honor the hundreds of people behind me, though, because
absolutely,
the volunteer organization and the momentum around it, that's pretty spectacular here.
Here today to talk about your efforts in Honduras and how the teachers in your school at Honduras have been spreading kindness and not coronavirus in the time of crisis.
So my name is Laura Waits, and I am the co-founder and director of an organization called Reach Out Honduras. Mm-hmm. And we are a holistic nonprofit, and we focus our efforts in the La Mosquitia region of Honduras. And it's also that's also known as the Mosquito Coast of Honduras.
Mm-hmm.
And so the region where we work is inhabited by the indigenous Mosquito Indians. And it's a beautiful people group, and they live on the far side of the second largest rainforest in Central America. So as you can imagine, they are divided from the country of Honduras by this rainforest. So access for them to education, to basic food products, to economy, to those types of things, it's very isolated in that way. So it's very difficult to access. Our particular city, Puerto Lempira, where I live, is only accessible by small plane or boat. There are no roads going in and out. So the people group, the people are isolated, and in many ways, one of the things that also brings me great satisfaction is partnering with our brilliant creative teachers and staff to find solutions to the challenges that rise up. And so that has been humbling in so many ways for me growing up, because I did grow up in this culture. And so to be able to go into another culture and work hand in hand and then celebrate together and grow together and truly become a family, that has so many broader implications for our world than just a school in La Mosquitia, right?
Yeah. So has there been any a story, a good story or something that any of the teachers has shared with you?
Yes. So sometimes we had just started our school year this year in February. So our teachers had only been in class for about 5 weeks. So in that time frame, our entering 7th graders, they had not really gotten the opportunity yet to meet all of the 7th graders' families and hear about their personal scenario, personal situations at home. So because of this food delivery, they've been able to go out and actually find out what situations our students are living in. One of our 7th graders is being raised by his grandmother, who is also raising 3 other siblings of his. So she's raising 4 children. They've been abandoned by their mother, and they have absolutely nothing. So we did not know this, that his situation was this dire, because he just started with us and he is the oldest. So it was very important that our teachers visited his home and saw the situation.
Do you see your teachers carrying it forward?
Based on what our directors are telling us, they are not going to return to work the same. They have a different perspective of appreciation for what they do, and also appreciation and compassion for where their students are living, and also a real respect for the student in terms of knowing what their home life is like, and also knowing how hard they are working at school. And the respect has also deepened.
So please pass on our message to all the teachers.
I will.
We appreciate that for being the kindness heroes and spreading love.
I will pass that on to them.
Yeah, it's so good to catch with you, Laura, and talking about your teachers and all your efforts. And hopefully we can continue to be in touch. And I wish you a good evening.
We've all heard the saying that one person can change the world. Well, we met a little girl who may just do that.
I'm stuck at home, so I thought, what can I do in my community to make a positive influence?
Between remote learning and lots of walks with her family, 10-year-old Grace Coughlin is fighting boredom by doing nice things for other people.
I've been drawing and writing cards for nursing homes, and I've been trying to FaceTime my grandparents every day because I know they're lonely, and we're trying to get them to stay home. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel proud to be doing something kind for someone.
Then Grace had another idea.
You know, we were all feeling anxious, and she just said very simply, I wonder if if everyone did small helpful things, if it could make a bigger difference.
I hope that it will start some kind of, movement maybe. I don't know. I just would love people to start doing one helpful thing a day.
And that was the beginning of the One Helpful Thing Challenge. Grace and her mom, Catherine, starting a website.
It can be a big thing,
Small thing, a practical thing,
or a creative thing. We can all do our part.
With ideas about what folks can do.
And one helpful thing a day, right now, staying home and washing your hands is a helpful thing,
And an Instagram page to highlight what people are doing or seeing to help others and spread kindness.
Today, a friend of ours had her sent her dog to a 90-year-old cancer patient so the dog could comfort her today. And there have been a lot of touching stories like that coming our way.
I saw the hand on the chest, and that's when I really was like, oh, it's so sweet.
Grace's favorite so far? A man holding a sign at an emergency room window thanking the staff for saving his wife's life.
Like, this man, he didn't have to do this, and I think that him taking the extra step to that is so sweet. I think this could continue after coronavirus, and I think that it could possibly get bigger after, or I don't know, just see what happens.
If you would like to take the challenge, we've got all of the information on how to do so on our website, fox4kc.com. Shannon O'Brien, Fox 4 News.
Okay, my name is Grace Coughlin. I'm 10 years old. I live in Kansas City. I'm in 5th grade.
The next question is, what motivated you to start your act of kindness?
We're all kind of stuck at home right now. So I thought, what can I do for my house to make small helpful things bigger and hopefully make a bigger influence?
Nice. So when and how did you start working on your kind act?
So I just kind of asked my mom. I said, how can we make this come to life? So we started working on a list and eventually created a website and an Instagram page.
And what kind of support did you receive from your family and friends?
My friends were super supportive. They constantly were calling me saying, "Oh my goodness, this is such a great idea. What can I do?" Texting, and my family. I mean, my aunt, for example, was like, "I sent this to 100 people. I'm so proud of you." So my family's been really supportive.
That's wonderful. My last question is, how has doing your act of kindness helped you see a better side of yourself, and how do you plan to continue it?
Doing my small acts of kindness, it feels really nice. It not only makes me feel good, it makes others around me feel good as well. And I hope to continue doing this by trying to grow our website, our Instagram page, and just trying to make this a bigger influence.
Well, thank you so much. 7Days really appreciates you, and I'm sure our community does too.
My name is Larry Biggis. I nominate Mike Meyer as a hero. Mike has done a lot to help COVID in the metropolitan Kansas City area. Through the Overland Park Rotary Club and the Johnson County Christmas Bureau, Mike has brought in over 70 pallets of merchandise for distribution through various local charities. These include 190,000 diapers, which parents are in desperate need of right now, almost 3,000 bottles or boxes of laundry detergent, 4 pallets of cat litter, which were donated to the SPCA, personal care items such as deodorant, laundry stain remover, toothbrushes, toothpaste, and many other items. Mike has personally been driving the truck. The trucks carrying a large volume of merchandise will come to town, drop the merchandise at a warehouse as Mike has arranged, and then Mike will get a Penske truck and personally go pick up the merchandise and move it around to the various charities where it is needed. He's given a lot of merchandise to Giving the Basics and to the Johnson County Health and Environment Agency. Mike has diabetes, so this is putting himself at high risk to pick up the merchandise and make the deliveries. Mike has been a member of the Johnson County Christmas Bureau Board of Directors for a couple of years. He's been a longtime member of the Overland Park Rotary Club, where he started the book program. For the book program, he arranges for truckloads of books to be brought into the Kansas City area and then manages volunteers to get them distributed to low-income schools and to the Johnson County Christmas Bureau. Mike has also been very active in numerous veterans organizations, being a Vietnam vet. Mike has been willing to put his own personal health and safety at risk in order to help members of our community.
Hi, Laura Kinney here with Mike Meyer, and he's been nominated as a hero by Larry, is it Biggis? Did I say that right? Biggis.
Biggis.
And Mike is here in the Kansas City area doing great work for the community. So if you wouldn't mind giving us a little information about your background and what's going on.
Well, sure. I grew up in Kansas City, Kansas, and after high school got drafted into the military, and so I ended up in Vietnam and as a crew chief and door gunner on Huey helicopter. So
wow.
I spent from 1970 to 71 in Vietnam, and then got out, came home, knew the love of my life, and she picked me up at the airport. We were riding, and the next thing I know, a year later, we're married, and we've been married for 47 years now. So
oh, yay, congratulations.
Great. Yeah, I graduated from Rockhurst in 76 and then MBA in 96. And there was a Jesuit priest there named Father Dinser. And Father Dinser was my mentor. I graduated degree in economics, and he was head of the economics department. But with his blessing and guidance over the years, I owe a lot of this because of him blessing me, number one, but also another gentleman named Dr. Hugh Womble, who was a professor at the Midwest Baptist Seminary in Northtown, who was also telling me at the time when I was young, he said, you know, you're gonna do great things, and so I want to bless you. And so I leave that final statement is that we are all blessed. It's a matter of how you use your talent and your time, and we've heard that before: time, talent, and money.
Yeah.
But treasure. But I think it's not as hard as what people think it is. Sometimes they make it harder than it really is. But again, I just want to say we're all blessed.
I agree.
I was interviewed the other day, and they asked me, what would you advise people to do that really want to make a difference in the world? And I said, it's so simple. The secret sauce is very simple. Volunteer for a committee, like I did at Heart to Heart. That's all you have to do, because you're with people of like minds, like spirit. They're 99% givers, not takers. And they're good team players. I always give credit to my team, because it isn't just me. I may come up with the idea, but for it to really work, you need a good, solid team. And it's like Coughlin once said. He said, you know, I'm not the smartest man in the world, but I sure know how to hire him. And that was his philosophy. You hire the best to do the best. And so if I had to give somebody guidance in terms of how do you do good things, you volunteer.
So tell me about the support that you receive, both like support from your family to take care of this, and the people in the background, or the people helping you in this distribution process.
Well, first of all, my wife, through our church, was a volunteer at Amethyst Place downtown.
Okay.
And she would deliver the products from Giving the Basics to Amethyst Place. So one day I had a warehouse full of, oh my gosh, I had diapers, I had emergency food, I had bottled water, I had probably 15, 20 different items. And I was trying to figure out, because I don't turn anything down. And
right.
So I had it. She said, hey, I know this organization. They're really nice people. And it was, of course, Giving the Basics.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well said, and I appreciate your time. And thank you for being a hero and spreading kindness, not coronavirus.
Allie, I do want you to tell us a little bit about you and what you're doing, and how you're making a ripple of kindness with Unleashed Pet Rescue.
Thank you so much. So we're super happy to be chosen, and we really appreciate it. It is unfortunate that, the events that took place, because we were looking forward to it, and the walk seemed really great, and a chance to get out in the community and meet everyone, kind of tell everybody what we're about. So we are we're a smaller rescue, and we have roughly about 32 employees. So we rely heavily on volunteers and foster homes to make this happen. We typically we can house about 90 dogs, and that's pretty full at our shelter. So we currently have almost 500 dogs in our care. So that is how many foster homes we have in the metro area. So I think that, our numbers speak for themselves in that aspect. So we really try to, get out there and help in the community. And we pull a lot of our dogs from kill shelters. So when their times are up, we go in. That's what rescues do. You go in and you pull them before, anything can happen. So we also go out, we have outreach in the Kansas City area. where we go out. We have volunteers and some staff that go out on the streets. And, you know, we get calls about dogs that are neglected in backyards and stuff like that. And we'll go do a welfare check, talk to the owner, see if we can help them, you know, how we can do it. We will give them everything. We also have a community pantry at the shelter. You can't afford to feed your animal, come pick up food free, just, you know, anything we can do to help that animal stay in a home and out of the shelter or the streets. Our founder, she started this in 2011. She started it in her garage.
Thank you, because I was going to ask you, when did it start and when did you get started? So you're not the founder?
I am not, no. The founder is Danielle Reno. I am the event coordinator for Unleashed. So, and you kind of wear a lot of different hats at the shelter. You know, when you have that many animals and minimal staff, you kind of have to know what every job does. So right now that this is going on and the events have pretty much come to a halt, I've been doing a lot of foster work with, you know, helping the fosters out. We have new intakes coming in every day. We're one of the few shelters that are still able to run. It's a learning process, absolutely, and it has just been it's been chaotic. I mean, everybody has just been working, you know, hours after hours every day. So it's a learning process, you know, absolutely. But I think that we're holding it down really well, and I think that our staff has been absolutely nothing short of amazing. So for us, I know for Danielle, you know, she founded this on the premise that, you know, we can save them all. And if there's a will, there's a way. And Danielle, you know, and Unleashed has just been time and time again, you know, proven that to be. So we make miracles happen every day. So, I mean, you ask me honestly, and it's just, I mean, some days we don't even know how we do it, you know, but we don't stop. So, and it just happens.
About how long is a pet in a home for foster care?
So it can vary depending on the pets. There's a lot of different factors. So puppies generally, they have to have at least 2 rounds of vaccinations. They have to be at least 8 weeks old to be spayed or neutered. You know, we have adult dogs that we get in, and those are generally foster to adopt, you know, if they go to foster. So because the adult dogs, you know, sometimes they need that little extra help, you know, for whatever behaviors they may have. So those are generally foster to adopt. Puppies always generally tend to go quicker, you know, of course. So those are usually just at least a 2-week foster, you know. And if we have puppies that are already spayed and neutered, that they just need to have, you know, another round of shots, some puppies are only a few days.
And what is your mission statement? What's your mission to do what with, because you get all these animals in, so I understand now, you get all these animals in that you need to care for, and you have all this food and vaccinations available and spay and neutering available to help people who are in need. What is your mission?
Our mission basically kind of speaks for itself, because we can save them all. Together, if we all work collectively and people are responsible, we can save them all. We don't have to have, you know, we don't have to euthanize animals for space ever. That shouldn't even be, you know, it's 2020, and that shouldn't happen anymore, but it does. And you know, our mission is to save them all together. We have to work together and, you know, have to take responsibility. There's really no need, you know, there's no need for it. There's so much help out there and resources. So.
Okay, good. And so you take them in, if they come in intake, and then you put them in foster homes, and then you're finding a forever family.
So all of our animals, a good way to see what we have incoming is our social media sites. The website is real-time updated, so all the animals that are on there are available for adoption. Animals will come in, and then generally we always post them on our main Facebook page. So, you know, people will get applications in. Go to our website, you can fill out the application, send it in. Fosters usually will contact you. You can schedule a meet and greet. with the animal. And then on the day that they get spayed and neutered, they're able to go home. Foster through us, we provide absolutely everything. We'll give you a crate, food. I mean, we provide all medications, everything. So vet care. So it's really all you're doing is kind of, giving them a safe place to land and thrive. But we will provide everything. So
you make it very accessible to get them into a safe environment for the fostering part.
That is exactly what we try to do. And we have an army behind us of volunteers. So there's no question, there's really no issues that could happen that some other foster hasn't been through. So, the help is it's endless. So.
Okay, so let's tell our listeners, the people who are watching this video, how can they help you? If they hear this video and they are touched, which they will be, but if they are touched so much that they choose Unleashed Pet Rescue as their onward, they're like, I want to do something for them. How do you need help? What way can they help you?
So we, right now, other than the, most obvious would be monetary donations, foster homes. We can't save these guys without a foster home. So the more fosters that are reaching out to us, the more animals we're able to pull from those shelters. So that is why we've been able to have so many in our care right now, is because the community has just really surrounded us with a lot of love and support, and we've been able to save much more animals than normally.
So we have a pet as well, and she's a love. So I understand what you're talking about. So thank you so much. We will package up this video and get it out to people and make sure that you are featured and get some help.
Thank you so much, Mindy. I appreciate it.
For the 7 Days Heroes, I'm nominating Will and Senya Shields. The Shields during COVID-19 have stepped up and have funded more than 95,000 meals through both Harvesters and Jewish Family Services. This goes to people who right now need food on their table. This is only a small thing that they've done. They're involved in so many other things. They help foster kids. They help abused and battered women. They've been outspoken in the area of domestic abuse, and they get in there and they actually do hands-on work. Will has been an outstanding football player, Hall of Fame, but he's such a humble man and does these kind of things from the bottom of his heart. So they're a hero in our community.
Okay, so if you guys could just introduce yourselves real quick, that'd be awesome.
That's Will.
That's Senya.
I'm Senya.
So you guys have spent a really long time doing a lot of really incredible things. What motivated you to do the acts of kindness you've done lately? Like, I know that you donated funds to supply more than 96,000 meals to Kansas Cityans in need. What motivated you to do that right now?
Well, I think there's just a lot of things that you can do, and timing's one of those things of figuring out what's next. Being able to see a need, to be able to help when you can, is always one of those things that's very important to us. And I think it's been that way for a very long time for us to be able to give and help out as far as what we can do in the community. But with, the pandemic going on, there's a lot of different things that we were trying to accomplish this year and trying to help to facilitate. And so this sort of helped us, give us another way to be able to do some things here, especially with the things that are going on.
I just think it's what you do. As being part of, a community and the team that the community is, it's what you do for your fellow human beings, and it's what you do, if you can, for your city. Mm-hmm. There's many ways of giving. It doesn't just have to be with money or meals or whatever.
Yeah.
There's a lot of opportunities to do very many things.
Yeah, absolutely. Why do you think that, you sort of touched on this, but why do you choose to help the community? Like, why is it so important to you to give back to our local community here?
We sort of take it for granted, the little things that, others can do for other people to make them feel better and make yourself, part of it. And it's those things that make a big difference. And that's where you try to start with. And those people that done things for us sort of help us sort of pay it forward.
Yeah, I think it's a value, like Will and I have almost been together 30 years.
Yep.
So I think it is just like the value that the moral and ethical values that we chose as a couple and as best friends, and how we were hoping to participate in the world, and how we were hopefully choosing to raise our children, that it's bigger than just you as an individual, us as a couple, and as a family, but that it's important that you contribute in which way you can.
Do you have any stories that you can share that really stand out to you in the time you spent serving the community, things that have really made an impact on you personally, anything that sort of stands out?
When you're doing one thing, then for that period of time, it seems like, that's the thing you're focused on and invested in. So I would say anything, that has to do with children at Operation Breakthrough, that we've been involved with children, already grasps your heart. People who don't, who are wrongfully convicted. That's a project we're currently working on with the Midwest Innocence Project. And so those things, when you're working with those entities, those are the things that keep you up at night, that children may not have what they need, or, if there's going to bed hungry, or people who don't have their freedoms, who are wrongfully convicted. Those are the things that keep you up at night.
For whatever they need, that's what we try to provide.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you guys so much for talking to me today. And thank you for everything you've done. It's really been great to hear from you.
My social studies teacher, Miss Young, has spread kindness, not coronavirus, by checking in on all of her students, including me, during these hard circumstances. Amy Young has been working very hard to improve her students' well-being. She continues to check up on me and my work. Ms. Young has been kind and thoughtful by offering her time to talk. She holds weekly meetings to make sure we're doing well. Those are the reasons I am nominating Amy Young for the recognition of being a kindness hero.
Can you tell me a little bit about yourself? Like, who are you?
Sure. My name is Amy Young, and I'm a 6th grade teacher at Prairie Star Middle School. I've taught in the Blue Valley School District. This is ending my 26th year in the district.
So what has motivated you to keep in touch with your students throughout this hard time and make a positive impact on them?
Well, I was just thinking, connections are super important. And even before this whole pandemic happened, I really have a firm belief that it's connection over everything, and how important relationships are. And I often, my first students, my most important students to me are my 2 daughters at home. And so when I think about them, I see them in the eyes of my students. And so I think that, when we have kids at home facing things, I do have a senior in high school this year. So, I often relate how I treat my students like I would want my own daughters to be treated. Kindness is contagious. So anything that, I do, I can definitely see that from the students, because numerous students, and it's not just me, just students at our school reaching out to our staff and just sending funny little messages back has been really rewarding to see.
Yeah. So my last question is, has what you're doing helped you see a better side of yourself, and how do you continue to plan to move forward?
Well, I think, we've always known that connections and relationships are extremely important in the classroom. I think, you could throw out all classroom discipline as long as you have connections. I think the mutual respect is there. And I think we've known that, and we've really worked on making connections and caring for the whole child and making them see their value and worth. But I think it's been so much more eye-opening now that we don't have them in our presence and we're having to teach them remotely, that it's so much more apparent how much these connections mean. And I think also it kind of brought light to me in that we don't see what's going on at home. So lots of grace has been given, and people are juggling and attacking their homework and their e-learning in all different ways. And I think, as long as grace and going both ways, giving grace and showing grace, I think goes a very, very long way.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for everything that you're doing and for supporting your students throughout this hard time. We really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mindy Corcoran, and I am the president of Faith Always Wins Foundation. Several months ago, I met a woman via LinkedIn named Erica Sunshine Lee. She found me on LinkedIn because of the work that I do with Faith Always Wins and 7 Days Make a Ripple Change the World. Erica is a singer and a songwriter, and she created a song called Change the World. And she was literally looking for people to be in her music video or just to share her music with. Well, we had a great connection, and I had intended to have Erica be part of our 7 Days event in Kansas City on our Kindness Walk Day. But because of COVID-19, we changed our entire program to virtual. And so now what I'm going to do is I am nominating Erica Sunshine Lee as one of our kindness heroes. You're gonna get to hear her singing and watch her video, Change the World. So I nominate Erica Sunshine Lee as a kindness hero.
So, first of all, just thank you so much for being here, Erica. We're really excited that you are one of our kindness heroes that are spreading kindness, not coronavirus.
Yay!
So tell me a little bit about yourself and just your kind of basic information, who you are and what you do.
I am a country singer-songwriter from Elberton, Georgia, a small town girl. I moved out to California and started my band in 2007 and started writing music and touring around the world. So I moved back to Nashville, and actually today I'm releasing my 9th original album. So I've just been writing and touring and playing for full-time for 12 years. It's been a really cool experience to be able to share my songs and stories and to try to make a difference wherever I go around the world and spread some happiness, some laughter, some deeper stories that may connect with people that have been through heartache and to give them some hope. And that has been kind of my mission.
Okay, wonderful. Well, so you wrote a song, a specific song for 7 Days and kindness, and we will be playing some of that song in this piece, but can you tell us a little bit about the motivation behind the song? The video is amazing and beautiful. We love it.
Blink your eyes, you'll be graduating. I hear what you're saying. Beautiful blue jean baby with a glitter heart of gold that somebody stole. Tears rolling down your face. The hearts heal after they break.
Tell us a little bit about it.
So ironically, I actually written this song when I reached out to Mindy originally, because I just thought she's doing so many amazing things to change the world, make it a better place. And I wanted to find women, especially in the United States, I was reaching out to find women that are making a difference and a positive impact on the environment or on the community around them. And so when I read about her story, I was just like so connected with her, and I wanted to reach out. So I sent her this song and she heard it. And so that's when we started the dialogue. And then I found out about her organization.
That is amazing. Thank you so, so much. Yeah, what an amazing message for women and girls. And I loved that you had a variety of women and girls featured in the video. So tell me a little bit about that. Did you know all of them, or how did you make that happen?
So actually, we are continuing to get videos. I put up the deadline on my Facebook page and said, send the videos in. I want to have any girl that you know, tag them, that's changing the world, that's making a difference.
Absolutely. We would call that the ripple. That you are making ripples of changes, and they're spreading. So that's wonderful. I love that you're still getting people to submit, and I can't wait to hear the final or see the final version. Tell me a little bit, give us all of your tags so people know how to find you out there.
So my website is ericasunshine.lee.com, and it's got my social media links on there. But if you want to go to Facebook and Instagram, it's Erica Sunshine Lee. It's pretty simple. And Twitter didn't have room for the last E, so it looks French. Erica Sunshine Lee. It's just one E at the end.
Well, thank you so much. That gives, I think that your message is giving hope to the world and to girls and women, and we just really appreciate all that you're doing.
Well, thank y'all for everything that you're doing. And anytime I can get behind a women's organization, or anytime I can share more hope in the world, I think we can never have enough of that.
Amen. Well, thank you so much. You have a great day.
Today we are with Parvati Chillara, who is from the Indian community here in Kansas, and she and a group of other Indian women and men have been nominated by Sridhar Harohali for the awesome good work they've been doing. They've been sewing masks to help healthcare professionals. So we are here today to talk to Parvati for spreading kindness and not coronavirus. Could you give a brief introduction about yourself and the group that you have created and how you started working on this?
Actually, this group, it's a by chance. It's the same people having the same kind of interest joined together. And I cannot say we are all friends, but we are on the same community, and we all having the interest in the sewing and, little bit inside. But everybody was getting bored and watching the news every day about the doctors and the coronavirus. Everybody's something inside, but nobody was able to connect and start something. But one time we got a request from Johnson County for the mask, for they needed 1,000 masks or something. Friend, and then we were looking for the material and who can sponsor us and the kind of things. Everybody was thinking a little bit, but one fine day I was watching the news and I got a just some ad like sewing lab in a downtown somewhere. And I said, okay, why not to just try and find out what those people are doing. And I just called them, and even we got an ad from Join Store that they are providing a free material for the mask and all that. So I was trying to just networking and trying to find out where we can get the material. So fortunately, one of my friends was working in downtown, and I requested her. Her name was Smita, and she went and just talked to them. And I also called them, and they were so generous to provide us the material right away.
Wow.
And very first time I thought, okay, let me try by myself. How long will it take? And in a day, I did like 150 masks in a weekend, and I just dropped those through some other friend. And when we went there, and they were just so generous to provide us so much of material to make more and more masks. And then we started making a WhatsApp group, whoever is interested in sewing and all that. So one by one, people were adding, they were joining other friends and all that. So now we have a total of more than 50 people in our WhatsApp group who are making a mask, and we are making more than 1,000 masks in a week.
I think the hope is that we all come out of this finding a better side of ourselves. And so the initiative that you have started,
that just brings us more closer to each other.
So thank you so much for your time, Parvati. And I would also like to thank everybody in your group who've been doing an amazing work and giving the time to help the community out to come out of the situation. Once again, congratulations on being nominated to be the Discover Day Heroes for spreading kindness and not coronavirus.
And here I want to take the opportunity to say thanks to the whole group. I can say Alka, Purnima, Reena, Akshita, Anjana, and the other. I have like list of people, more than 50-55 people. If I'll go on, it might take a couple of more minutes, but I really want to thank them here for their support, and I know and I have a full confidence that they will be continuing supporting this goal what we are doing it. So thanks Sunaina for just taking this call.
Thank you again. It was nice chatting with you. We'll stay in touch.
Sure. Thank you, Sunana.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello, I am Emma Standler. I'm a member of the 7 Days Kindness Youth Leadership Team. I am co-chair of Discover Day. As we conclude what we hope has been an uplifting program, 7 Days Discover Team would like to take a moment to thank both our nominators as well as our heroes for their work during these difficult circumstances. Thank you sincerely for spreading kindness, not coronavirus. We know times are hard, but we hope that this has brought you comfort as well as ideas of ways you can make ripples of kindness in your communities. Please virtually attend our other events this week. You can find more information through our Facebook page, Give 7 Days, or on our website, www.give7days.org.